Welcome to second session of World Literature. So we stopped last time talking about interactive learning activities. So engaging deeply with world literature requires active participation beyond passive reading. These interactive learning strategies transform you from a consumer of texts into an active interpreter, questioner, and creator of meaning. Each activity develops its specific skills while making the learning process more dynamic and memorable. Literature isn't meant to be studied in isolation. It's meant to be discussed, questioned, debated, connected to other texts, um, and to your own experience. Now let's move to text annotation exercises. Develop close reading skills by marking up texts with observations, questions, and connections. Annotate for literary devices and their effective or their effects. Unfamiliar cultural references requiring research, patterns, repetitions, and structural choices, personal reactions and evolving interpretations, connections to other texts or contemporary issues. Does this remind us or remind you of another text? Does it relate to current events? These connections help you understand literature's ongoing relevance. Now let's move to collaborative discussions. Learn through dialogue by engaging multiple perspectives, small group analysis of specific passages, debates on character motivations and authorial choices, exploration of ethical dilemmas within texts, comparison of different translations, discussion of texts' relevance to current events. How does a 19th century novel about colonialism illuminates contemporary globalization? How does an epic or ancient epic about wars speak to modern conflicts? Literature isn't dead history but ongoing conversation. Now let's move to multimedia exploration. Contextualize texts through rich supplementary materials, interactive maps showing authors' geographical contexts, historical timeline linking literary and world events, author interviews and documentary films, musical and artistic works from the same period, virtual tours of relevant historical sites. Many museums and historical sites offer visual tours. You can explore the Forum, where Roman orators spoke, Japanese temples where Noah plays were performed, African kingdoms HB describes. Multimedia doesn't replace reading, it supplements and enriches it by activating multiple senses and learning styles. Now let's go to sample activity text annotation workshop. Activity structure. Select a passage, 1 to 2 pages from assigned reading. First reading, note initial impressions and questions. Second reading, identify literary devices and techniques. Third reading, connected to broader themes and contexts. Share annotations with patterns. Revise interpretations based on dialogue. After discussion, go back and add new annotations in a different color ink. Show how your understanding evolved through conversation. Now let's go to talk about what to look for annotation. Language choices, dictation or diction, syntax, figurative language, tune shifts, narrative techniques, point of view, pacing, dialogue, description, cultural elements, allusions, customs, values, historical references, thematic development, recurring ideas, symbols, character development, structure, transitions, sorry, organization, emphasis, rhetorical patterns, repetition, parallelism, contrast. Now let's go to transition to active learning. These activities transform reading from solitary to social, from passive to active, and from surface level to deep engagement. By combining annotation, discussion, and multimedia exploration, you will develop the interpretive skills necessary for sophisticated literary analysis while discovering the pleasure of collaborative learning. Literature is ultimately a social practice. Books are written by individuals but read and interpreted by communities. The meaning of a text isn't fixed by the author but emerges through ongoing dialogue among readers across time and culture. Your interpretations matter, your questions matter, your contributions to the conversation matter. Now let's go to case study heroism across cultures. The epic of Gilgamesh, the flawed hero. Mesopotamia. Mesopotamia's ancient king hero embodies physical strength and courage, but begins as an arrogant tyrant. His friendship with Enkidu humanizes him, and his failed quest for immortality teaches acceptance of human mortality. Heroism here involves self knowledge and wisdom gained through failure. Cultures or cultural values the balance between power and responsibility, friendships, transformative power, acceptance of human limitations. Trying to transcend your nature leads to suffering. Wisdom means accepting what you are. Gilgamesh isn't a perfect hero. He is a flawed human who grows through suffering into wisdom. That's what makes him heroic. Now let's move to Beowulf, the warrior hero. This Anglo-Saxon epic celebrates marital prowess, loyalty to one's lords, and willingness to sacrifice oneself for community protection. Beowulf's heroism lies in physical courage, monster slaying, and dying nobly in battle against a dragon threatening his people. Cultural values, martial valor, reputation, and honor, loyalty to kinship bonds, generous leadership, accepting fate. The Anglo-Saxon concept of fate cannot be escaped. Heroes face it courageously. Beowulf is uncomplicated heroism, strong, brave, loyal, generous. His heroism is external, physical, and social. Now let's move to the Ramania, the Dharmic hero, which means a duty hero. Prince Rama exemplifies Dharma, righteous duty, through unwavering adherence to moral principles, even when personally costly. His heroism involves self-control, devotion to duty, compassion, and maintaining cosmic order through righteous action. Cultural values, dharma over personal desire, devotion to family duty, self-discipline, justice tempered with mercy, divine purpose. Heroic actions serve a cosmic order. Rama's heroism is uh, internal, moral, cosmic. He is called Mariada Bushomota, perfect, the perfect man who maintains boundaries. Now let's go to the comparative analysis similarities. across traditions. Physical courage is facing dangerous adversaries, willingness to sacrifice for the greater good, journey or quest, structuring, driving the narrative, supernatural elements, and divine connections, heroes serving as cultural role models, confronting morality and the human limitations. Even as they transcend normal human capacity, heroes face human limits. Gilgamesh fails to escape death. Beowulf dies drama, though divine experiences human suffering during incarnation. Astaghfirullah, these similarities suggest universal human concerns about courage, death, duty, and meaning. Now let's move to cultural differences, individual glory versus communal responsibility, martial strength versus moral righteousness, accepting fate versus achieving immortality, transformation through friendship, battle, or duty, relationship to divine forces and cosmic order, balance between power and humanity. Gilgamesh learns humility through failure. Beowulf displays confidence, not arrogance, but doesn't emphasize humility. Rama demonstrates humility despite being divine and rightfully powerful. These differences reveal deep cultural distinctions in values, worldviews, and ideals. Now let's go to modern reinterpretations. Contemporary literature reimagines heroism through diverse lenses, female heroes, challenging patriarchal norms, anti-heroes, questioning traditional virtue, organizing people performing quiet acts of moral courage and collective rather than individual heroism. Modern texts often deconstruct classical heroic ideals, asking whether ancient values remain relevant in complex contemporary societies. Consider how authors like Chimamanda Ngozi uh, Adichie, Khalid Hosseini, or Kazao Ishiguro redefine heroism for our times. Now let's go to talk about that. This comparative approach demonstrates that no single definition of heroism exists. Rather, cultures create heroic narratives that reflect and reinforce their deepest values. By examining these differences alongside similarities, we gain insight into cultural priorities while recognizing shared human aspirations for courage, meaning, and uh, transcendence. Gilgamesh teaches that wisdom comes through acknowledging human limits. Beowulf um, teaches that glory and loyal sacrifice define a good life. Rama teaches that dharma must be maintained regardless of personal cost. All three offer different answers to the question, what makes a life well lived? Now let's go to writing and presentation skills. Mastering literary analysis requires not only understanding texts but communicating your insights effectively through writing and oral presentation. These skills enable you to participate in scholarly conversations, persuade readers of your interpretations, and demonstrate your analytical abilities. Strong communication transforms private readings into public intellectual engagement. Literature becomes truly alive when readers discuss, debate, and build on each other's interpretations. Your contribution matters. Now let's go to uh, structuring literary analysis essays, starting from developing a strong thesis. So your thesis should present a specific, arguable interpretation of the text, not merely summarize, plot, or state obvious facts. A good thesis analysis answers so what by examining the significance of your analysis. Example through Gilman's failed quest for immortality, the epic suggests that true heroism lies not in conquering death, but in accepting human limitations and creating meaningful legacies through compassionate leadership. Now, so let's move now to support with textual evidence. Every claim requires a specific support from the context or from the text quoted directly when language is significant, paraphrase when content matters more than wording, and analysis explain how evidence supports your argument strategy, introduce evidence, quote, or paraphrase, then analyze its significance in 2 to 3 sentences showing how it proves your point. What does this evidence reveal? Why does it matter? How does it support your thesis? Now let's move to organized logically, structure body paragraphs around clear topic sentences that advance your thesis. Each paragraph should focus on one main idea, with smooth transitions connecting ideas across the essay. Pattern topic sentence 3, evidence 3, analysis 3, connection to thesis 3, transition to next point, write compelling introductions and conclusions, open with an engaging hook that contextualizes your argument, present your thesis clearly, and previews your main points. Conclude by synthesizing your argument, addressing broader implications, and leaving readers with a memorable insight. Your final sentence should resonate. It might connect back to your opening hook, pose a thought-provoking question, or offer a powerful statement about the text's significance. Weak conclusions, just repeat the introduction is in slightly different words. Strong conclusions demonstrate that you have moved somewhere intellectually, that analyzing this text has led to new understanding. Now let's move to talking about effective oral presentations, clarity, and organization. Begin with a clear thesis or central question, structure content in 3 to 4 main sections, use signposting first, second, finally, summarize key points before concluding, engagement strategies, make eye contact with audience members, vary vocal tone, pace, and volume, use purposeful gestures and movement, incorporate rhetorical questions, share relevant personal connections. If something in the text genuinely moved or surprised you, say so. When I first read this passage, I was struck by how modern it feels. Gilmish's grief could be anyone grief. This vulnerability makes you relatable and your presentation more engageable. The goal is natural, enthusiastic delivery that conveys genuine interesting in your topic. If you seem bored, your audience will be bored. Now let's move to visual aid best practices. Keep slides simple with minimal text. Use high quality images that enhance content. Include relevant quotes from texts. Employ consistent design and fonts. Never read directly from slides. This is crucial. If you're just reading text off slides, why is the audience here? They could read it themselves. Slides should trigger your points, not contain everything you're saying. You should be saying more than what is on the slide. Using the slide is a visual reference point. Now let's move to peer review and revision strategies. Effective writing emerges through revision, exchange drafts with peers, asking for specific feedback. Does my thesis clearly state an argument? Is my evidence sufficient and well explained? Are transitions smooth? Does the conclusion add new insight? When reviewing others' work, offer constructive criticism that identifies both strengths and areas for improvement. Revision isn't about catching errors, it's about refining ideas, strengthening arguments, and clarifying expression through iterative improvement. Professional writers revise extensively. Your first draft is thinking through your ideas. Subsequent drafts are about communicating those ideas effectively to readers. Now let's move to assessment overview. Assessment in world literature measures your growing mastery of literature, our literary knowledge, analytical skills, and communication abilities rather than testing memorization. These assessments evaluate your capacity to think critically, support interpretations with evidence, and engage meaningfully with complex texts across cultures. Understanding assessments expectations help you prepare effectively and demonstrate your learning. Different assessments measure different skills, and knowing what is being evaluated helps you focus your efforts appropriately. The goal of assessment isn't to trick you or catch what you don't know, it's to give you opportunities to demonstrate what you've learned and receive feedback on your developing skills. Now let's move to success strategies. Approach assessments as opportunities to deepen understanding rather than merely earn grades. Begin preparation early, breaking large projects into manageable tasks. Utilize office hours to discuss ideas and receive feedback. Form study groups for collaboration learning, practice writing and presentation skills regularly. Most importantly, engage authentically with text. Genuine intellectually curiosity produces the best analytical work. Do not try to figure out what the professor wants to hear. Figure out what you genuinely think about the text and argue for that interpretation with evidence and logic. Now let's move to technology and world literature introduction. Technology has revolutionized how we access, study, and engage with world literature. Digital tools enable unprecedented access to texts, scholarly resources, and collaborative platforms that enhance literary study. Learning to navigate these resources effectively is essential for contemporary literature scholarship and expands your research capabilities for beyond traditional print libraries. democratizing access to knowledge, but they also require critical thinking to use effectively. Not everything online is reliable or useful. Now let's move to online databases and digital archives. Academic databases provide access to millions and billions of literary texts, scholarly articles, and the critical essays. Resources like Gester, Project Muse, and Google Scholar contain peer-reviewed research on virtually and literary topics, essential skills. Boolean search operates citation management, evaluating source credibility, accessing material through library portals. University libraries subscribes to databases, access them through your library website, not Google, to ensure you can actually view full articles. These skills take practice but become second nature with use. Every time you search, you're developing valuable information literacy. Now let's move to interactive literary maps, digital timelines. Digital mapping tools visualize authors' geographical contexts, character journeys, and historical settings. These interactive resources help contextualize texts especially and understand relationships between literature and the place. Example, British Literary Interactive Maps, Digital Dante, Oxford World Literature, Interactive Timelines, showing literary developments across cultural or cultures simultaneously. Digital timelines connect literary works with historical events, showing how texts emerge from and respond to their historical moments. Visual timelines make complex periodization more comprehensible than reading dates in text form. Now let's move to digital timelines. Interactive chronologies connect literary works with historical events, showing how texts emerge from and respond to their historical moments. Visual timelines make complex periodization more comprehensible, uses understanding literary movements, comparing developments across cultures, contextualizing individual works. What historical events were occurred when this text was composed. These tools transform abstract historical information into concrete visual understanding. Now let's move to free digital resources. Project Gutenberg, over 70,000 free ebooks, including many world literature classics in multiple languages and translations. World Digital Library, UNESCO, and the Library of Congress uh, initiative providing free access to cultural treasures from libraries worldviews, internet archives, massive digital library with books, audio, video, and software from global sources. Beyond books, it includes the Wayback Machine showing historical versions of websites, which can be useful for researching how texts have been discussed over time online. It has audio recordings of authors reading their work, a documentary film about literary figures, all freely accessible. Now let's move to Google Arts and Cultures. Virtual museums tours, author exhibitions and literary collections with high resolution imagery, pottery foundation, comprehensive databases of poems, poet biographies, and critical essays with audio recordings, open library, over 20 million catalog records with borrowing capabilities for digital editions. It functions like a public library online. You can check out books digitally, read them for a set period, then they're automatically returned. This provides access to more recent books that aren't yet in public domain, though popular titles may have wait lists just like physical library books. Now let's go to incorporating multimedia in presentations. Effective presentations leverage multimedia types to engage audiences to and illustrate complex ideas. Consider incorporating author video interviews to hear writers discuss their work, audio recordings of poetry to experience rhythm and sound, historical photographs and artwork to visualize cultural contexts, film adaptations to compare interpretations, interactive map showing geographical settings, and digital timelines connecting literary and historical events when using multimedia ensures technical functionality, keep clips brief and relevant, provide proper attribution, and integrate media purposefully rather than decoratively. Every media element should serve your argument, not just make slides prettier. Multimedia should enhance understanding, not distract from it. Now let's move to digital literacy skills. Mastering technology for literary studies require critical evaluation skills. Not all online sources are reliable. Verify author credentials, check publications dates, assess evidence quality, and prefer peer-reviewed scholarly sources. Learn to distinguish between primary sources, original literary texts, and secondary sources, criticism and analysis. Develop efficient source such as using advanced search operators and appropriate keywords. These skills ensure you find high quality resources that enrich rather than compromise your literary analysis. Digital literacy is critical literacy, evaluating what you find, not just finding it. So we'll stop here and we'll continue, inshallah, tomorrow, the last session. Until tomorrow, for now.